the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Sunday night, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight is Bible study night. And tonight we are in that great book of Numbers, chapter 7, verse 89. That's where we left off last week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Years ago when we first began, back before the Great War and all the stuff that happened on YouTube. Before I got sick, before the Great Famine, Numbers chapter 7. That's where we were. That's where we are now. Welcome to the show. Come on in, take your shoes off. It's going to be fantastic. I can feel it in my bones. Who's with me? Kevin Bernard's first in chat. He says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. My friend, how are you, sir? You get a gold star for being first in chat. Amanda says, Kevin, here's your gold star and hamburger helper hand. And hi, UntetheredLive family. Good to see you all. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Hiya, Jake. How are you tonight? Full, sleepy, coffeeed up, and loved up. I can't complain. It's been a good day. How are you? Nice to see you. Linda Davis is here. She says, hi, Kevin, Amanda, and Jake. Hi, how are you? Debbie's here. She says, hamburger helper hand. Debbie, how are you? Nice to see you, lady. Amanda says, hamburger helper hand, Linda, and hamburger helper hand, Debbie. And Kevin says, hello, Linda and Debbie. And Linda says, hi, Debbie. And that's all the highs. Everybody said hi. Hi. Nice to see you. Oh, it's going to be a good one tonight. I can feel it. Oh, yeah. We have gotten through the biggest part of setting up the tabernacle and setting up the congregation and setting up the people and establishing who does what, where, and why. All of the sacrificial stuff, all of the ministerial stuff. So now we're getting into the goings-on of the tabernacle itself, which is going to be interesting. Lots and lots of names coming up shortly. And thank you very much. Oh, how do I love thee. Let me count the ways. 1, 2, 3. Like a bird on a tree. All right, I got a nice hot cup of coffee here. Who's with me? You want a cup? If so, go to the kitchen, pour yourself up a nice hot cup, and let's get to talking. Gift gab, as it were. If you don't have a cup or coffee or a kitchen, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one, though. It has my face on it. It is fantastic, but you can get yourself your very own Bible down there, too, or the Constitution, or Strong's Concordance, so you can actually know the stuff that I know and see where it came from. That's a good one to have. Also, the Book of Enoch, or the Dead Sea Scrolls, or a couple of other educational, extra-biblical documentation that you might enjoy. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and if you can, I appreciate that very much. You can do that at $JakeJohnsonBand and CashApp or PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. And one last thing, if you'd like to hang out with us outside of YouTube, see what we get up to when we're not here, go over to Facebook.com/UntetheredLive chillin'. The link is in the chat. It's a great place to hang out, share pictures, text, videos, memes, and get to know each other. There's a private chat over there where you can chat privately. Private chat privately. And also there's videos that are updated regularly that are adjacent to or concerning slightly the things that we talk about over here. They're free, fun, and entertaining. And most of all, they're available for you. So there's no reason not to. Just go check it out. And I look forward to seeing you over there. In the meantime, though, back over here in the real world, We got some Bible study to do, so sit down, sit back, put your tray tables in the upright position, and buckle your seatbelts. Dorothy, you're in for a ride. Kevin says, hi. Hi, everybody. Hiya. Everybody was Kevin fighting. He was fast as lightning. Sorry. Here's a link if anybody wants to check it out. Linda says, I have my coffee and no pants. Cuddled up with my pups. I'm ready for the read. Amen. Heart. Heart back at you. That sounds like just the perfect place to be. I was dozing off seconds before live stream, so I'm a little cross-eyed, but it's all right. I'll get through it. I'll catch that second wind or first wind at some point. But don't threaten me with a cuddle up because I will pass right out. Scratch my chin and I will just go to sleep. Amber Grounds is here. She says, smiley faces and hearts. Hi, Amber. Linda says, blah. Amanda says, blah. Nice to see you. That is a good cup of coffee. Thank you to the person who provides the coffee for the show. I appreciate that very much, don't you know? It makes my mustache tingle. That's when you know it's good coffee. And that's the good stuff. We had a pretty decent show last night, considering we started late. Because I slept in. Seems to be a pattern emerging here. I need to stop doing all of that. You take one sick day, and next thing you know, you're just lazy all the way around. It happens. But I ain't giving up just yet. I'm just hanging in there. Just recuperating. What have you guys been up to today? Anything special? Kevin says, hello, Amber. Kevin. Jakejohnsonband. Amber. Amanda. That's what happens when you get old, says Amanda. Yeah. Well, I've been old. I'm just getting lazy. So, I'm catching up to the laziness. My age is catching up to my lazy streak. I work very hard for a lazy man. That's okay, though. Kevin says, the starter I fixed last week shit the bed. Oh, no. So what was it? Was it the brushes on the inside? Or the solenoid switch? What was it? LOL, I'm getting old. No, I've been old. Kevin says, I got a new one. I just have to put it in. Well, thank God it's not a hard job. It's just 2 bolts. Just depending on your model, depending on what it is whether or not it's easy to get to or not. Most of them are right there where you can get to it, but some of them, they want to put it up under the strut or something like that, under a bunch of hoses. Linda says, my son is having a barbecue tomorrow, so I'm hoping it don't rain. Me too. I hope it don't rain for you. Barbecue sounds lovely. Kevin says the solenoid must have gotten too hot. Have to tap it to get it to work. Yep, it sounds like it. Sounds like there's a bad connection on the inside. The only way to fix that is to replace the starter. I mean, really. You could tear it apart and replace the solenoid if it's built into the starter, but it ain't worth it. Just get a new starter. What is it, $75? Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's just as easy to get a new one, and then you know it's good. Amanda says the newer Toyotas put the starter under the intake manifold now. I know. It's like they're trying to make it hard to work on. Don't forget to wear your glasses, Kevin, or you will never hit the screw hole, says Debbie. That sounds like a statement from experience. Sounds like she knows what she's talking about there, Kev. Had a good run, Kev. Nobody wins them all. Puppeteer's here. He says, hello there. Hello, Puppeteer. Linda Davis says, hi, Puppet. Amanda says, Puppet, hamburger helper hand. I had what can only be described as a lazy taco for dinner. Kevin never misses the screw hole, says Kevin. Right. Yep, I had a lazy taco for dinner. It was delicious. It had all the stuff a taco has, but it was not taco-like. It's kind of floppy. It was a floppy taco. Amber says, monkey. Bear, your turn. Debbie says, Kevin, except that one time. You know the time we're talking about. Where the screw hole eluded you. Rough. Rough, rough. It was absolutely not lazy, says Amanda. It was leftovers. It's called a burrito. A lazy taco. That's what I said. Linda Davis says, Puppet is not monkey. No. Oh, monkey ain't even monkey. It's good coffee. Puppet, how's your animation going on? How's it coming along? Kevin says, in my defense, those holes were very close together. They usually are. God made them that way to be confusing. To be confusing, but the law of averages means that eventually you'll hit the right one if you just keep poking. Wait, what are we talking about? Linda says, ooh, smiley, smiley. Well, there's a bunch of holes there, but they're all close together. So if you just aim for the middle and keep poking, eventually you'll hit the right one. Puppeteer says, doing good. Excellent. Glad to hear it. When am I going to get to see it? The sale keeps getting better. According to Miracle Suit, there's a naked woman on my screen. You see it? Weird. I don't know why they send me things like that. You own a website and everybody thinks you want to sell porn. Amanda says, you dirty perv. LOL, I knew it. Well, it ain't like I'm hiding it. I'm pretty open about it. I am not a dirty perv. I'm a clean perv. But no, that was a advertisement for something. Miracle Suit, whatever that is. I get like 10,000 of those a day. Every day. Never fails. I spend more time deleting and removing and swiping things than I do actually using my phone. Kevin says, executive perv. That's right. That's right. Executive perv. Perv with some finesse. With some distinction. I'm a distinguished perv. Amanda says, it's a suit that hides all the rolls. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Like one of those, I forget what they're called now, but they're skin colored and you pull it up over it. It's like a tube top, but you wear it in the middle. Like a tube middle. They made those for a while. People were wearing them like Spanx, but with no leg holes. Pretty much the same idea, which ain't a bad idea. I mean, it's basically a thinner girdle. And when you got some rolls and you want to tuck them away, that's a good way to do it. Like a magic bra? Yeah, I got you. I don't know why they think I want one, though, but they keep sending me emails. I must have scrolled past a picture of one at some point, and they just clung onto me like sand spurs. The old sand spur trick. That's how marketing works these days. They just attach. And then you can't get rid of them. But we do have a good show in store for tonight. So get your Bibles down and dust off the dust and cobwebs and crack them open to the book of Numbers, chapter 7, 89. And let's see where we can get. I think we can get pretty much halfway through the book tonight, maybe even all the way. I forget how long Numbers is. I don't think it's very long, though. Kings is longer. There's two of those. Kevin says, question, Jake. Answer, Kevin. Does the Bible say that the earth has the only life in the universe? Sort of. That's the best way I can say that. The Bible makes no attempt whatsoever to describe anything on any other planet anywhere else in the universe. In fact, the whole of the universe is delegated to one short line, and he created the stars also, period. That is it. That is the totality of the description of the outer space. At one point, it does say that the stars sing and that God knows them all by name. That's it. There's a place in the Bible that talks about angels having a habitation, which I take to mean either a dimension or a place. If it's a place, it's almost certainly another planet or a star system. And then there's a bunch of extra biblical stuff about the Pleiades and the Sirius constellation, star system and the Pleiades constellation. There's something going on there, but I'm not exactly sure how to interpret it. But my guess would be there's this type of life only exists here on this planet. And the other type of life, the celestial type, there's probably places where they get up to being. When Enoch was taken by the angels up into space, he was taken through all of the corridors of space. He describes it kind of like a house or a tent, and inside of it has all these different hallways, for a lack of a better description, different channels of planetary systems and stars and such. And he describes it in some great detail as places where things occur, such as a pillar of fire, that what we would call hell, where the certain angels are kept prisoner and things like that. That's out there, because he described that while he was going. But that's pretty much it. There's no definitive description anywhere in any text concerning the Bible that directly talks about other planets. I don't think they're important. I really don't. I don't think it matters. For one thing, it's a fairy tale that we're ever going to go see them, because we can't. It's too far away. Anybody that thinks we can don't understand how big space is. It is so big that it is unfathomable to think that we could ever traverse from this place to that place in a reasonable amount of time, such as a lifetime. It would take several lifetimes to get to another star system. And by the time we got there, if we got there at all, because it's so dangerous out there that we probably wouldn't survive the trip. But if we did manage to get there, it would be several generations into a family line, and the people that started the journey wouldn't exist. The people that ended the journey would not even know why they went. They would just be there. So it don't make any sense to ever think about going, unless some groundbreaking new type of travel is invented very quickly. I don't see it ever happening. Remember, Christ is returning at some point, and we're very close to that. I don't know how close, but closer than we used to be. So we don't have a lot of time left to go exploring outer space. So I really don't think that's going to happen. That's just my opinion. I hope that answers your question. Amanda says there's 36 chapters in Numbers. Okay. Debbie says, off topic, sorta. Have you heard the talk about RH blood? Yes. Being special, like from an angel line. I have been seeing it a lot lately. I've done some research into the topic, and there is something unique about RH blood. It is not typical of blood, but as to its origin, I don't know. I don't have any evidence that would lend me in a direction. I have theories, but I don't have any evidence that would say, yeah, this is definitely not human blood. But there is something unique about it, and it is not compatible with human blood. O negative specifically, just nonsense. I don't think it's nonsense, but I don't think I have enough information to have a logical guess as to what it is. I don't think it's nonsense, though. I think there is some wisdom in knowing about it. To the best of my ability to understand hemoglobin, the RH factor is unique to those people that have it. And if you try to conflate it with other blood, it attacks it and kills it. It just cannot exist in the same system. So both bodies are the same thing. They operate the same way, but they have different fuel. Like one's diesel and one's gasoline. And you can't run gasoline in a diesel engine or diesel in a gasoline engine, or it'll kill the engine. Same thing with the RH factor blood. You can't put it in other bodies because it'll kill it. And you can't put your blood in theirs because it'll kill it. And there's some variants in the middle where it is compatible. I don't remember exactly what it is, but there's a certain blood type that can take RH blood and use it, but not the other way. It's like kind of like a mule. It can be born and exist, but it can't have babies of its own. It's kind of that kind of thing. It's like the end of its capabilities. If that makes any sense. Hope that helps. It's worth looking into, though, if you're interested in it, because blood is where the life is. It's very important to understand how blood functions. Kevin says there's zero chance of humans reaching other stars. Exactly. So why would the Bible mention other life so far away? That's my point. It wouldn't. And even if it did even if there was life out there in other places, I don't think it's intended to be part of this life place. In other words, I think God, if he put life in another place, that pertains to that, and this pertains to this, and ne'er the twain shall ever meet. So I don't think we should know about it, because it's a different form of life. It's a different thing going on, different rules, different circumstances, different outcomes. So I really don't think that's ever going to be a thing. It's fun to watch on TV, though. Star Trek's awesome. What it is. Do you feel better than you did last week? I do. Thank you. Nice to see what it is. Amanda says, I have RH factor 8. 8 have to have the Rogan shot when I get pregnant, so my body doesn't reject the baby. I'm O+. But yeah, there's a few people in the world that do have to have a supplement shot when they get pregnant because their body's not compatible with typical blood, and most likely the baby would have typical blood from the father, the RNA. So yeah, but I'm not sure how they come to know that or why that is significant. I just know that it happens. Angela Ashkins, hello. Amanda says, what it is, Hamburger Helper Hand. Debbie says, I am O negative and was told I could not have any more kids. It never affects the first baby, but it will affect the others. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have any information about that. I would say you can have as many kids as God wants you to have, because he's the one going to bless you with them if you do have them. Angela says, O negative, you can give to all other blood types. RH blood. Mother can only naturally carry RH children, or her body rejects it. Right. Which is why you have to have the shot. You could have a ROGAM shot to stop that, Debbie, says Amanda. I did. Right. And Debbie says, I could never get an abortion because of a deformed baby, so my husband got a vasectomy because I would have let myself die, and he knew it. And he made the decision for me. That's understandable. I don't agree with that decision, but it's understandable. I wouldn't judge it. My personal self, I believe in, a certain amount of blessing by God. I believe that God will give you what you need. And so I think if God wants me to have children, he'll bless me with them, because it certainly ain't something I can do on my own accord. And for that reason, when my children came, I didn't plan them. They just happened, and I accepted because that was what God blessed me with. But again, there's other people that have different reasons for doing things and different needs and different circumstances and so forth and so on. So it's not a bad thing. He just decided he didn't want to lose you. So that's not bad at all. Cowboys 8 panel. Hello, darling. Cowboy says hi. Amanda says hamburger. Help her hand, Angela. And Cowboys. And they give it automatically, the shot. They give it automatically if you have RH factor now, just to be safe. That's probably a smart thing. They used to also, when I was younger, I don't know if they still do this. When I was younger, they used to give you a blood test when you got married, before you got married, to make sure that you weren't too closely related in certain areas. Because if you unknowingly mate with somebody that's a descendant of yours or related to you in some fashion, and it's too close, the children will be negatively affected with retardation or birth defects or something like that. So they used to take blood tests to prevent that, and you had to pass it or you couldn't get married. I don't know if they still do that, though, but they did when I was younger. Debbie says, yep, I was told I would have to do that, Amanda. But I was told it wasn't 100%. Well, nothing is. Nothing's ever 100%. When talking about child rearing, it's always a gamble. And there's always a certain risk involved with every portion of it. There's no guarantee that when you have children that you'll be able to keep them. There's no guarantee the government won't come in and just take them away from you like you're nobody. Like they should be able to do that. That's what they think. What it is says, hello, Jake and Amanda, and to all in here tonight. Hello, what it is. Nice to see you. Debbie says, that is the reason I paid attention to the article, but wasn't sure about it. I don't think there is a way to be sure about it. Most of this stuff is just barely understood, even by scientists. I mean, they're just barely grasping what's going on here. Angela says, Debbie, they aren't deformed. They don't survive long enough to be born. It's a miscarriage that happens. I don't know what we're talking about. Or stillborn, says Angela. Kevin says, hello, Cowboys, and what it is. And Angela says, hello, all, and yes, unless the father is RH negative too. Right on. Amanda says, they don't do blood tests for marriage now. They probably should. I don't know why they stopped it. Seems like a good practice. You don't want to marry your cousin and mess up your children's lives. That's right. Linda says 40 plus years ago, they used to make you get blood tests to get married to make sure you both had the same blood factor. Mm-hmm. Angela says, I think they still should, Amanda. I do too. I don't know why they stopped. And Angela says, oh, hello, everyone. Hello, Angela. Nice to see you. RH rejection is usually a miscarriage, says Amanda. I would imagine. It's kind of a strange thing to think about. how the body does all these things automatically and then has fail-safes for certain criteria. If it doesn't meet the criteria, it has a fail-safe. It's kind of weird. But then you realize, oh, God designed us to be this way. That's how we're all here. That's how this whole world was created, just by doing that one at a time. One woman at a time, having a baby, having a baby, having a baby, and it working. Then you have a whole population of people. It's kind of interesting. Kevin says, hello, Angela. All right, we'll go for a couple more minutes and we got to get started. Got to get that ball rolling. Amanda says, that's what they think caused one of my miscarriages. I did know I was pregnant and didn't get the shot in time. Well, there's a lot of things that can cause a miscarriage, and it could have been that. It also could have been you just weren't on the right cycle at the time you conceived. I mean, who knows? It's a very complicated apparatus you got there in your belly, and it does some amazing things. And God is a master at design. Angela says, Kevin Hart. We'll have no comedians in here, mister. Amanda says, didn't know. You didn't know you were pregnant at the time. I got you. Angela says, I'm so sorry, Amanda. Debbie says, my doctor was my Army doctor, so he just suggested I not do it again, especially after the 100 stitches to put me back together. Oh, good gracious. You had to have the episiotomy and everything, didn't you? What? Jake knows big words. Whoa. Amanda says, thanks, Angela. All right, let's get after it. Before I fall asleep on y'all. I got to get that fixed. You see that? I don't know why that happens. I hate that. I'm only good right here. If I move, things get squirrely. I need more control over my lights, I think. Angela says, Amanda, heart and hugs. And Kevin says, science claims to know a lot of things until they figure out they were wrong. True. That is very, very true. Yeah, don't move. Right. That's an easy fix. You're absolutely right, Kevin. Science makes bold claims, and they claim it proudly, like they know what they're talking about, like they're the authority on the subject, until they're proven wrong. And they're always proven wrong, because science, in large part, is just an arrogant guy claiming to be right about stuff. That's really what it is. Until he realizes he don't know what he's talking about. Then he realizes there's more going on in this world besides simple little yes and no answers. There's a God, and he put all of this in action, and you can see evidence of it if you go looking for it. And all of the science things sound great on paper until you scrutinize it. And then when you start thinking about it, it all falls apart. Almost all of it. I have been very, very, very disillusioned with science as of late. Because I grew up in a science environment. I am, for lack of a better term, a scientist. I like to study and experiment and figure things out and know answers to questions. And I believe in science. I always have. Earth science is my particular forte. That's the study of planets and the study of how things move in space and how things work on planetary systems and all of that stuff, you know, that kind of science. That's I also get into a little bit of physics, but I'm not a physicist, but I like physics. Quantum theory and M theory and string theory and relativity and all of that good stuff. But the more I look and the further I dig and the more answers I come to answer, the more I realize that science don't know anything. They're just grasping at straws. And most of the time, they are motivated by trying to disprove God first, which is not the reason to do science, But that is the reason why they're doing science, to disprove or discredit God so that they can be unshackled from Moses, as they were to say. And the harder they try to do that, the further away from reality they get. And then they have to invent a bunch of things to make an answer for the simple question, how did this happen? God did it. That's the answer. But they make up all these things like dark matter and dark energy and black holes and on and on and on and on and on. And then they have to make up science that backs that up because there isn't any. So there's a whole field of scientists that are just making shit up to support ideas that discredit God. And that's where you lose me. Because if you can't answer simply, how did that happen? It happened this way. If you can't do that, you're not being a scientist. You're being a propagandist. And I don't like that. The Neil deGrasse Tysons of the world, the Bill Nye the Science guys, the Michio Kakus of the world, those people are scam artists. They are salesmen, snake oil salesmen. That's all they're doing. Angela says, yes, they do, Kevin. Smiley face. It's just a guess. In most cases, yep. Science is just a guess. It really is. A scientific wild-ass guess. Yep. SWAG, scientific wild-ass guess. That's right. Science goes with the information they have at the time. The problem is when new information comes into the picture. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the problem is actually when they refuse to look at the new information that comes into the picture. Such as the little Hyperbole episode I did about Biloxi, Mississippi, where they found dinosaur footprints and man footprints side by side, like the man was walking the dinosaur or running from it, one or the other. That appeared because a flood happened and it broke up some of the bedrock. And they removed the bedrock, and there the footprints were right on underneath that bedrock. And they called the Smithsonian because that's what you do when you find a scientific discovery. You call the science people, right? So they came down, and the guy that showed up wouldn't even look at them. He stood there with his back to them, telling everybody in the news cameras that it was a hoax, that it wasn't real, that it wasn't what it looked like. But he would never turn around and look at it with his own eyes. And then, in the middle of the night, there was a ruckus heard in the town square, and somebody came out and caught the guy with a hammer and a pipe busting up the footprints to destroy them. And now we don't have them anymore. If we didn't have pictures of them, we wouldn't know they were even there. That's what science does. They're so connected to their own ideology that they'll destroy actual evidence to keep their ruse propped up. And I've seen that many, many times, and I don't like it. And it is not an isolated event. It's like the whole apparatus is doing it. All of the bones that we have in museums, such as Piltdown Man, Australopithecus, I can't remember them all. The little hobbit guy. I can't remember what they call all of them. Anyway, if you do a little bit of study into those finds, you'll find out that there's a couple of guys back in the 1800s, and they did this thing called the Bone Wars, where they were literally trying to one-up each other by making fossils and presenting them to the public to be the next big thing. So they literally were fraudulently inventing these creatures, which we now call our ancestors. They've all been debunked, every single one of them. Every single one of them have been made fraud. And yet they still teach it in science books today. And it was done 100 years ago. It was made fraud 100 years ago, and still we teach it. So they're not getting rid of the stuff. They're getting worse. It's just the way it is. What it is says, hypothesis. Yes, hypotheses. Correct. Kevin says, after COVID, if you still trust science, you're a fool. I agree. I think it's before COVID, but COVID was a good reminder that these people are lying through their teeth at you. All right, boys and girls, if you got your Bibles handy, crack them open to the great book of Numbers, chapter 7, verse 89, and let's go down. And it reads, Angela says they are seeking scientific prestige instead of scientific truths. Yes, they are. All right. 789 reads, and when Moses was gone into the tabernacle of the congregation to speak with him, then he heard the voice of one speaking unto him from off the mercy seat that was upon the ark of the testimony from between the two cherubim, and he spake unto him. We're talking, he heard God's voice audibly. That's different and probably a little scary. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron, and say unto him, when thou lightest the lamps, the 7 lamps shall give light over against the candlestick. And Aaron did so, and he lighted the lamps thereof over against the candlestick, as the Lord commanded Moses. And this work of the candlestick was of beaten gold, unto the shaft thereof, unto the flowers thereof was beaten work, according unto the pattern which the Lord had showed Moses, so he made the candlesticks. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the Levites from among the children of Israel and cleanse them. This means to pray for them, have them baptized, anoint them, sanctify them, and clean their spirits, make them clean to work in the presence of God. And thus shalt thou do unto them to cleanse them, sprinkle water of purifying upon them, and let them shave all the hair on their flesh, shave all their flesh, and let them wash their clothes and make themselves clean. So, no body hair. That's weird. Then let them take a young bullock with his meat offering, even fine flour mingled with oil, and another young bullock shalt thou take for a sin offering. So you got a meat offering and a sin offering. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the tabernacle of the congregation, and thou shalt gather the whole assembly of the children of Israel together. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the Lord, and the children of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levites. And Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord an offering of the children of Israel, that they may execute the service of the Lord. So they offer this meat offering and sin offering before God in the presence of all of the Israelites who are touching them, the Levites. So it's kind of like a laying on of hands, praying for people with your hands on them. It's kind of like that, but during the sacrifice, so that God can personally sanctify them so they can do the work of the Lord in the tabernacle. It's kind of the point of the Levite. And the Levites shall lay their hands upon the heads of the bullocks, and thou shalt offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering unto the Lord, to make an atonement for the Levites. Or what are they atoning for? Anything and everything. It's nothing they've particularly done. They're not paying for a particular sin. They're just paying for sin in general, because they are flesh, and by order of being flesh, they are sinful. It's in your nature. You can't get away from being sinful. You're born that way. So that's the reason for this particular sacrifice, to make do with this flesh body in the service of God. Ordinarily, an angel would do that, but since people are involved, they have to be cleansed. And thou shalt set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and offer them for an offering unto the Lord. Offer the Levites to the Lord. Thus shalt thou separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine, says God. Just like in the old days when he said the firstborn of every family would be mine. Your firstborn child is mine, said God. Whatever comes out the matrix first, that's mine. Male. Well, in this case, it's the Levites that are being offered to God so that they can be his. Now, these Levites, or anybody that descends from the tribe of Levi who works in the tabernacle and has agreed to do that job, they are now property of God. They don't have a regular life. They don't have regular expectations. They may not even have free will. I don't know. But what they do have is a special gift. They can touch the instruments of God, which you cannot do. I cannot do. If you touch the instruments of God, you will fall over dead immediately because you're not allowed to. But the Levites can do it at their leisure. However, they can't own land. They can't have an inheritance. They don't get an inheritance, right? Everybody in the 12 tribes gets a portion of land according to the size of their family and their household. They all get some piece of land and some amount of value, except for the Levites. Well, why? Well, because they have to be mobile. They can't put down roots somewhere. They got to be able to go wherever they need to go to do the work of God throughout all of the tribes, because they're needed throughout all of the tribes. So they work for God, but they can't have their own place. But God put a provision in everybody else's inheritance to cover that. No matter who you are, no matter how much land you own, a portion of it is carved out for Levites. They can come and go as they please. They can stay as long as they like. They don't have to pay rent. They don't have to be worried with anything. They have a place to stay in every town, in every country, wherever one of those tribes are. They have a place to go. Because when they come into town, that's where they're going to go, to their allotted portion. And it's for everybody. So no matter who you are, you carve out a space for the Levites, or in this case, the ministers of your church, because that's who they are. So that would be like me coming to your town and going and sleeping on your couch, right? I come to your town to preach. Now, I got no place to stay. I'm not getting a motel room. Are you crazy? So I come to your house, and you put me up in a couch or a bedroom, and you cook a meal for me. You make sure I eat, and you offer me some entertainment for the evening or whatever it is we do. And then I go do my job, and then I move on to the next town. That's what they did. And they had the right to do that everywhere, and they could not be kicked out. So there is a blessing, even though they don't get an inheritance. They do have perks. And they also have money coming in from all of the people, so they have a monetary system that keeps them afloat. So there's all kinds of good stuff about being a Levite, even though they don't get any inheritance. I would argue that being able to work for God is quite an inheritance. I would say that's pretty much top of the cake. You get to see things nobody else gets to see and do things nobody else gets to do. That's pretty amazing. And after that shall the Levites go in to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, and thou shalt cleanse them and offer them for an offering. For they are holy. This word is expatio. It is the same word that describes how much Eve was consumed with temptation by the devil. She was wholly seduced by him, expatio. The Levites are wholly given unto me from among the children of Israel. There is nothing left. All of them belong to me, says God. Instead of such as open every womb, even instead of the firstborn of all the children of Israel, have I taken them unto me. So this is a trade-off. Instead of requiring the firstborn of all of your children, which God originally did, instead of that, I'll take the Levites, and they'll be mine. That's a fair trade. You don't have to lose a kid, and God gets to have his group of people. For all the firstborn of the children of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified them for myself, says God. And I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn of the children of Israel. So it's an even one-to-one trade. You get to keep your firstborn children. I get to keep the Levites. It's a fair trade. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the congregation and to make an atonement for the children of Israel. Now, you might ask, is this slavery? Is that what God is saying? I gave the Levites as a gift to Aaron? Kind of, but not really. This is a high position job, right? This is way up there. This is top secret clearance type stuff that the Levites get. So, yeah, in that sense, they belong to God. They are his property, and he gave them to Aaron and his sons as a workforce so that they could run the tabernacle. Aaron is not a Levite, by the way. He's from the tribe of Judah, just like Moses is, or Benjamin, either Judah or Benjamin, I can't remember. But because of his position as high priest, because God chose Aaron and Moses together, he made Moses the prophet, and he made Aaron the speaker. And because of that, he was elevated to the high priest status. You could argue that he was educated and now understands God's word better than anybody else. He is a high priest. Well, a high priest is the job of a Levite because the Levites is the priest line. So you see what's happened here. God has basically grafted Aaron into the Levites' tribe because he gave the Levites to him as a gift. So now Aaron is the leader of the Levites, making him an honorary Levite. So he can be and perform as a high priest, him and his sons. I don't know that he ever did that for anybody else in the Bible but Aaron. It's interesting, though. That there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near unto the sanctuary. That's why they do what they do. I skipped one. Hang on. No, I didn't. It just talked about a plague out of nowhere. I'll read the sentence before. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the congregation and to make an atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near to the sanctuary. Okay, so they do the service and the plague doesn't hit them because they're doing the service. That doesn't make any sense, but that's what it says. And Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites according unto all that the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so did the children of Israel unto them. And the Levites were purified, and they washed their clothes. And Aaron offered them as an offering before the Lord, and Aaron made an atonement for them to cleanse them. And after that went the Levites in to do their service in the tabernacle of the congregation before Aaron and before his sons, as the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so did they unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This is it that belongeth unto the Levites. From 25 years old and upwards, they shall go in to wait upon the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Anybody from 25 years up, that's their job. They have to be a priest. And from the age of 50 years, they shall cease waiting upon the service thereof, and shall serve no more. So they get to retire at 50. 25 to 50. That's 25 years of service. But shall minister with their brethren in the tabernacle of the congregation to keep the charge, and shall do no service. Thus shalt thou do unto the Levites touching their charge. So they have to actually work in the temple for 25 years, and then after that they get to retire, but they still got to show up and do the prayers and stuff. You know, emotional support. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the first month of the second year after they were come out of Egypt, come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season. When is his appointed season? 10 points if anybody knows. When is the Passover's appointed season? It would be the first month of the year, which would be April or Abib. And it would be at the spring equinox. You count 14 days. And then at sundown on the 14th day past the spring equinox, which would be the first day of the month, you have Passover. So you find the equinox, wherever that is. That's the shortest or longest day of the year, depending on which time of the year it is. That equinox, that precessional equinox where it becomes even, that day is the first day of the first month. And then you count 14 days at sundown. That's Passover. And you got it. Third Sunday or Saturday of spring. Sometimes, yes. It's not always that, but it's whenever the spring equinox occurs, 14 days past that, and it is during spring. It's in April. In the 14th day of this month at evening, ye shall keep it in his appointed season, according to all the rites of it, and according to all the ceremonies thereof, you shall keep it. So, from the beginning of the tribes coming together in the congregation, from that point forward, they are charged by God as a commandment to keep the Passover, which is why you can trust it. You understand that a direction from God directly is very important to the Israelites. They take that very seriously. He said it to them. That means they have to make sure they keep it. It's not something they came up with. It's something he said. So it's incumbent upon their souls to get it right, which is why you can trust today that our Passover falls on the right time, because they've been keeping track of it since then. Actually, since the Garden of Eden, but definitely since the tabernacle. Sorry, my nose itches. Our calendar has changed like 3 times since that occurrence. We had the Gregorian and we had the Alexandrian. There's a couple of other iterations of the calendar, but when they changed it, they took days out or added days too, but they kept the 7-day week to keep it consistent with the Passover. This is the thing that science will not let you understand, right? They changed it so that they could get away from it. They invented this new dating system called BCE, or Before Common Era. But that's not how we date things. We date things relative to Christ in the West and in all modern science. We date them according to his birth or his death. That would be BC, before Christ, or Anno Domini, after death. Of who? Christ, right. So, the 7-day week is established in Genesis 1:1, the creation, right? From the moment God spoke to the moment he rested is 7 days. So from that point forward, the week has been 7 days. There really is no other reason for it. Nobody's ever had a reason why a week has to be 7 days. But it is because of the creation. And that day has been kept since the beginning of time by the high priests and by the Israelites, so that we know today that when we get to Passover, we're reasonably in the right place and time. That's how you know. And it's also how you know science is full of garbage, because they all base everything they know on these rules, and then they deny it to your face because they don't want to be beholden to God. And Moses spake unto the children of Israel that they should keep the Passover. And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at evening in the wilderness of Sinai. That's April 14th at sundown. Now, our April and their April are different. Our April is in the middle of the year. Their April is the first month of the year. Their April is our January. Sort of. According to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so did the children of Israel. Amen. And there were certain men, as there always are, those certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man, that they could not keep the Passover on that day because they had touched a dead body. That means that they were irresponsible and did not cleanse themselves properly to be able to go to the Passover. And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. And those men said unto him, We are defiled by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we kept back, that we may not offer an offering of the Lord in his appointed season among the children of Israel? And Moses said unto them, Stand still, and I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you. In other words, you're in trouble. Stay right there and let me talk to the man and see what he's going to say. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off, yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Lord. There is no excuse. You keep the Passover. The 14th day of the second month at evening they shall keep it, and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. You see? That's May. That's not April. That's the second month. So if you miss the first date, catch the next date. That's God giving you an out, even now. For people that say God is unreasonable or a tyrant, he sure does make a lot of exceptions. The Passover is important. You're supposed to keep it and remember it. So if you miss it in April, do it in May at the same time, 14th day at sundown. Keep it and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs, just like you would the first day. Then they shall leave none of it until morning, nor break any bone of it. According to all the ordinances of the Passover, they shall keep it. So if you miss your appointed time, do it on the next go-round, at the next month, at the next available opportunity. Get it done. But the man that is clean and is not in a journey, and forbeareth to keep the Passover, even if he has no reason not to and still doesn't, even the same soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he brought not the offering of the Lord in his appointed season. That man shall bear his sin. Translation: This is being done for your benefit, dummy. I'm trying to help you. I've set a thing in motion that will cleanse you from your sins. If you're too dumb to take it, then you deserve what's coming to you. That's what he's saying. If there's no legitimate reason why you can't make the Passover, i.e. you're in a journey or at war, or you've touched a dead body, or there's some reason you overslept, whatever the reason is, if you can't straighten up and get there and do it, and you can't make it up the second time around, then you deserve the sin that you're going to bear. Because this is all done to cleanse you from that sin. And if you can't figure it out, it's your fault. And if a stranger shall sojourn among you, and will keep the Passover unto the Lord according to the ordinance of the Passover, and according to the manner thereof, so shall he do. You shall have one ordinance, both for the stranger and for him that was born in the land. Everybody follows the same rules. Not rules for thee, but not for me. Everybody follows the same rules. And on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, namely the tent of the testimony. That's where the ark is. And at evening, there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire until morning. It looked like the place was on fire, but it wasn't. That was the presence of God and his all-consuming fire body. So it was always. And that's every Passover. That's the way it was. The cloud covered it by day and appeared of fire by night during the Passover. That tabernacle was a happening place. And if you happened upon it in the desert, I'm sure you thought, wow, there's some weird stuff going on down there. When the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, after that the children of Israel journeyed, and in the place where the cloud abode, there the children of Israel pitched their tents. So basically the cloud would lead them across the desert, and when it come to rest somewhere, that's where they'd build the tent at. That's where they'd set up shop and put up the tabernacle. And when it got ready to leave, it would just kind of move off that cloud that they followed. And then they would pack up the tent and follow it until it stopped again. At the commandment of the Lord, the children of Israel journeyed, and at the commandment of the Lord they pitched. As long as the cloud abode upon the tabernacle, they rested in their tents. And when the cloud tarried long upon the tabernacle many days, then the children of Israel kept the charge of the Lord and journeyed not. In other words, it told them when to go and when to stay. And they obeyed, because that's what you do. And so it was, when the cloud was a few days upon the tabernacle, according to the commandment of the Lord, they abode in their tents, and according to the commandment of the Lord they journeyed, as he told them to. And so it was, when the cloud abode from even unto the morning, from the evening to the morning, and that the cloud was taken up in the morning, then they journeyed. Whether it was by day or by night that the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. Didn't matter. If it showed up and then left, they went, and they'd keep going. And in this way, God basically took them on a journey across the desert towards Canaan by way of a few circles, because they kind of walked around for 40 years. Or whether it were 2 days, or a month, or a year, that the cloud tarried upon the tabernacle, remaining thereon, the children of Israel abode in their tents and journeyed not. But when it was taken up, they journeyed. So sometimes they would sit in one spot for a year. Now, why is God doing that? Why is he leading them around the desert? Well, he told you when he come down and caught them worshiping that false idol, when Moses came down and caught them worshiping that false idol. None of you are going to get to see the promised land. You people are stubborn, hard-headed, stiff-necked people that you can't beat out of the hide what's in the blood. You are unprogrammable. So you're going to walk around in circles until you all die. And your children will get to go to the promised land. I could do more with them. I'll have time to teach them. You got to remember, these people were slaves for 450 years. They didn't know their religion when they got freed. They heard about it. They understood that it was a thing, but they hadn't practiced it in their lifetimes. So you kind of can't blame them for being a little hard-headed. They didn't know any better. They didn't listen real good either, so they had what's coming to them. But they did wander around for 40 years, and while they wandered, their shoes didn't even wear out. So God took care of them. It's not like he punished them. He just wouldn't let them go to the promised land or even tell them where it was. And then finally, when the last one of them died, Moses was the only one left, and they made it. They got there, and Moses got to see it across the way. He didn't get to go. He died before he got off the mountain, but he saw it. There's the promised land. We made it. So he got that much. At the commandment of the Lord, they rested in the tents, and at the commandment of the Lord, they journeyed. They kept the charge of the Lord at the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Make thee 2 trumpets of silver, of a whole piece shalt thou make them, that thou mayest use them for the calling of the assembly and for journeying of the camps. It's not enough that they have to watch for the cloud. Now let's get some trumpets so that we can tell them it's time to leave. You know, bump, 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 bump. Yep, I'd say it's time to get up and go. That's why the army does it. It works. When they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to thee at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And if they blow but with 1 trumpet, then the princes, which are heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather themselves unto thee. When you blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the east parts shall go forward. And when you blow an alarm the 2nd time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall take their journey, and they shall blow an alarm for their journeys. And when the congregation is to be gathered together, ye shall blow, but ye shall not sound an alarm. And the sons of Aaron, the priests, shall blow with the trumpets, and they shall be for to you for an ordinance forever throughout your generations. Use the trumpet forever. They don't use the trumpet anymore. That's kind of a shame. They should. I think a lot of more people would listen if they were getting a trumpet blown in their ears at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Time to get up and go to church. I bet you'd get up. Oh, well. And if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before the Lord your God, and you shall be saved from your enemies. Oh, what's that? God says if you have to go to war, if somebody attacks you or is oppressing you, and you have to fight to defend yourself, blow the trumpet. Blow it loud, and God will hear it, and you will be saved from your enemies. That's a nice little gift from God, isn't it? You don't even have to fight. All you got to do is tell God, and God will stop that nonsense right here and now. That's pretty sweet. Oh, but God's a tyrant. The Old Testament God's evil, is he? Don't sound like it to me. Also, in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your God. I am the Lord your God, period. All right, God, you might be getting a little carried away with the trumpets, and we're blowing for everything these days. I mean, God, we got to blow a trumpet to go to the bathroom. What is that? It's the bathroom trumpet. It's to pick up the newspaper trumpet. It's a bedtime trumpet. We get it. A lot of trumpets. I think the alarm was sufficient. But just imagine, you got to get some use out of that. It's a silver trumpet. Silver's hard to come by. It's worth the weight of a shekel, a sanctuary shekel. So we're going to get the good out of this set of trumpets, these silver trumpets. And apparently everybody had one. It wasn't just 2 trumpets. Aaron had some. His sons had some. The army had some. The people in their houses had some. There were trumpets everywhere. It was like a trumpet revival. And it came to pass on the 20th day of the 2nd month in the 2nd year that the cloud was taken up from off the tabernacle of the testimony, which means time to go. And the children of Israel took their journeys out of the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud rested in the wilderness of Paran. So they went to another location. Paran is in between Sinai and Canaan. If you have an old map, you can actually find where it's at, Paran. And they first took their journey according to the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. In the first place went the standard or the flag of the camp of the children of Judah according to their armies, Judah being the king line and the first in the charge. And over his host was Nahshon of the son of Amminadab. Nahshon is quite an impressive character who we're going to learn a lot about these days. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Issachar went Nathaniel, the son of Zuar. Over the host of the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliab, the son of Helon. And the tabernacle was taken down, and the sons of Gershon and the sons of Merari set forward, bearing the tabernacle. And the standard or the flag of the camp of Reuben set forward according to their armies. And over his host was Elizur, the son of Shadur. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Simeon was Shelumiel, the son of Jerishaddai. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Gad was Eliasaph, the son of Duel. And the Kohathites set forward, bearing the sanctuary, and the other did set up the tabernacle against they came. And the standard or the flag of the camp of the children of Ephraim set forward according to their armies, and over his host was Elishama, the son of Ammihud. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan, the son of Gideoni. And the standard or the flag of the camp of the children of Dan set forward, which was the rearward of all the camps throughout their hosts. Dan took up the rear. Dan. And over his host was Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Asher was Pagiel, the son of Ochran. And over the host of the tribe of the children of Naphtali was Ahira, the son of Enan, master of the universe. Thus were the journeyings of the children of Israel according to their armies when they set forward. So every time they set forward in that pattern, Judah going first and Dan being in the rear and everybody in the middle moving out. So it was a very organized thing. They would disassemble from away from the tabernacle as they went moving in a straight line to wherever they were going to, like an army march, kind of like what we do nowadays. And Moses said unto Hobab, the son of Raguel, the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, Raguel being Moses' father-in-law, we are journeying unto the place of which the Lord said, I will give it to you. Come thou with us, and we will do thee good. For the Lord hath spoken good concerning Israel, as he did. Come to find out they're not just going to make it there willy-nilly like. It's going to be a while, but they don't know that just yet. And he said unto him, I will not go, but I will depart to my own land and to my own kindred, and to my kindred. So Raguel He wants to go home. He doesn't want to go on a journey. That's not going to stop him from speaking in Moses' ear, though, and giving him some bad advice. And he said, leave us not, I pray thee, for as much as thou knowest how we are to encamp in the wilderness, and thou mayest be to us instead of eyes. Don't leave. We could use another guy like you. I think I had a ant in my mouth. Sorry. And it shall be, if thou goest with us, yea, it shall be, that what goodness the Lord shall do unto us, the same will he do unto thee. That's a good little incentive. You'll get the goods too, buddy, if you come with us. God will take care of you just like he's taking care of us. That's a gift by proxy. That's guilt by association right there. And they departed from the mount of the Lord 3 days' journey, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord went before them in the 3 days' journey to search out a resting place for them. So they walked until they were tired, and then they rested, which took 3 days. And we're talking about probably 250,000 people here, so it's a lot of people. Might be as much as 1 million, I don't know. And the cloud of the Lord was upon them by day, and when they went out of the camp. And it came to pass, when the ark set forward, that Moses said, rise up, Lord, and let thine enemies be scattered, and let them that hate thee flee before thee. And when it rested, he said, return, O Lord, unto the many thousands of Israel. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord. Well, yeah, God doesn't want to hear you complaining. I mean, he's given you everything. What do you have to complain about? And the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. That's what happens when you make God mad. He said, don't make me turn this encampment around. He said, don't make me come back there. And he did, and burn up the people that were on the outskirts. And the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed unto the Lord, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them. Well, that's not a nice thing. You got to understand, this is God showing his displeasure to the people quite forcefully, in as much as he burnt some of them alive. It's a small little scripture here. It doesn't say a whole lot about it, but you just have to picture them complaining and whining and just blah, 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 all throughout their journey. And God just had enough. And so he burnt some of them up, the worst offenders who were on the outskirts, meaning they're not in the thick of it doing things. They're on the outskirts just kind of going along with everything. A good place to sit and complain, not doing anything, not being part of the work. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a-lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away, and there's nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. The manna was as coriander seed, and the color was as the color of 𝕊𝕬𝕪, which is a blue. So like blue coriander seeds, like, I don't know, like wheat, kind of. It's kind of hard to explain. It was edible. obviously. It was sweet. It was kind of like eating a pound cake. That's the way I picture it. You ever eat a pound cake where it's cake, but it don't have any icing on it? It's just sweet. It's kind of like that. And it's free. And every day, your fill is provided for you. Every day. 3 times a day. And that ain't good enough. Oh, we remember the fish and the garlic and the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions, which we ate freely. Well, you're eating manna freely, only it's from heaven. It's the food that sustains angels. You think you would be more appreciative. How long has this been going on? Since they first got to Mount Sinai when Moses went up to get the 10 Commandments. From that time period forward, they have been being fed manna by God 3 times a day, every single day, except on Sundays. But on except on Saturdays. But on Fridays, they got a double portion so that they could make it to Sunday. And they're complaining. Their feet don't hurt. Their shoes haven't worn out. They haven't ran out of food or water. They haven't been attacked and defeated. They have a beautiful tabernacle and they can commune with God directly. And yet they complain and whine about what they had when they were slaves. But we could eat freely. Yeah, but you were in bondage. Yeah, but there was fish. Yeah, but they would beat you to death if you didn't make bricks every day. But cucumbers. Jesus, are you that dense? Can you not see? Can you not understand what God is doing for you in your life? I don't think you can. Notice what God thinks about this behavior. He called it going a whoring, or a lusting, rather. They fell a lusting is how he put it. Lusting over things they can't have or don't have that they used to have. It's always greener on the other side of the fence kind of stuff. God is not amused. And the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills or beat it into mortar or baked it in pans and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. So this is kind of like a hoe cake. When they could take this manna and make different things out of it. They could make cakes, or they could make pancakes, or they could make mortar, which is whatever. They could fix it in whatever way they wanted to and eat it. It was like, it was tofu. It was tofurkey, tofakin, whatever it was. It was a tofurger. They had tofurgers for dinner. That's what it was. And that ain't good enough. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. So when you woke up in the morning, there's fresh manna everywhere. All you had to do is pick it up. You didn't have to go hunt it down. You didn't have to fight for it or kill for it. You didn't have to prepare it. It's right there. You open the door and there's manna laying all over the place. Just get what you need, eat what you want, and throw the rest away. Don't keep any of it. You don't need to. God will provide more in the morning. Talk about the right stuff, baby. Then Moses heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent, and the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly. Moses also was displeased. Moses is like, Jesus, I can't believe that. You can't please you people with a pleasing stick. What is the matter with you? You went from being a slave to being a sovereign nation with God in their midst. And you have the audacity to complain? And Moses said unto the Lord, Wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in thy sight, that thou layest the burden of all these people upon me? Have I conceived all these people? Have I begotten them? That thou shouldest say unto me, carry them in thy bosom, as a nursing father bearing a suckling child unto the land which thou swearest unto their fathers? Whence should I have flesh to give unto these people? For they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh that we may eat. I don't have any flesh. What do I have to do? Why did you make me the leader of these people? They are whiners. I don't have anything to satiate their hunger. You're God. Do something about this. I am not able to bear all this people alone because it is too heavy for me, says Moses. Have you ever felt that way about something in your life? I just can't bear it. It's too heavy. The consequences of this is more than I can bear. Yeah. Moses is feeling it right now. And if thou deal thus with me, kill me, I pray thee, out of hand. If I have found favor in thy sight, let me not see my wretchedness. That's a pretty simple question. If I have displeased you, kill me. Put me out of my misery right now. I've done the best I could do. If that don't please you, put an end to this. But if I have found favor in your sight, don't let me see this wretchedness. Give me a way to fix it. And the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee. I'm going to give them a talking to. Makes sense? And I will come down and talk with thee there, and I will take of the Spirit which is upon thee, and I will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bear it not alone thyself. I will split the labor. I will take some of your authority away from you and give it to these elders. I'm not sure that's what Moses had in mind, but that's what's going to happen. And say thou unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and ye shall eat flesh. For ye have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and you shall eat it. I'm not sure that's what they had in mind either. This is God saying, I freed you from bondage, and you'd rather go back because you had fish to eat. You want flesh? Fine, I'll give you flesh. Because I'm God. Almost certainly that flesh, you're going to choke on it. Almost certainly. But he's going to give it to you. Careful what you ask for, that's all I can say. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it come out at your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that ye have despised the Lord which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Egypt? I'm going to make it come out of your nostrils. I'm going to feed you so much flesh that you can't stand a taste of it anymore. You'll be fed up to here with flesh when the time I'm done. For a whole month, I'm just going to cram it down your fat gullet while you cry through the cracks. That's what God thinks. And Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and thou hast said, I will give them flesh that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them, to suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, to suffice them, to satiate them, to satisfy their hunger? Can I get a refill on this coffee, please? And the Lord said unto Moses, is the Lord's hand waxed short? Do you think I'm not capable of doing what I said I'd do? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. Yeah, Moses is being a little sarcastic with God here, saying, are you going to drain the ocean and give them all the fish to eat? Are you going to kill all the cattle that we have to feed them? There's 600,000 men. That's a lot of people, right? That's just the men, the footmen. That's not counting the women and the children and the elder or the animals. There's probably close to 1 million people here, or 250,000, something like that. 600,000 men. Those are just the military men. And so God says, what do you think? Have you not been paying attention? I'm God. I swear to me, I can feed these people. You think I can't? You think I've gotten old or soft? Oh, no. I'm just getting started, baby. So wait till tomorrow. I said you'll eat. You're going to eat all right. And Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in a cloud, and spake unto him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him, and gave it to the 70 elders. And it came to pass, when the Spirit rested upon them, that they prophesied, and did not cease prophesying. Yeah, when God put some authority on you, you suddenly know things you didn't know yesterday. You suddenly have access to parts of your brain you never had before, and it comes bubbling forth. So God had blessed Moses with the power to do all these things, and he certainly could have handled it. But because of his own mental weakness, he thought he couldn't handle it. He was too stressed out over it. So God took some of that authority away from Moses, making him less special. And he gave some of that authority to the older men, and they became special. Weird. But there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Medad. Eldad, Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were written, but went not out unto the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man and told Moses, and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. And Joshua, the son of Nun, that would be the military leader of Moses, the servant of Moses, one of his young men, answered and said, My Lord, Moses, forbid them. And Moses said unto them, Enviest thou for my sake? Would God that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit upon them? And Moses gat him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. So he's basically telling this young boy that has come and told him, hey, there's people prophesying in the camp. Yeah, I know. Don't you wish everybody had the Spirit of God? That's basically what he's saying. And there went forth a wind from the Lord, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it were a day's journey on this side, and as it were a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp, and as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. All right, picture this. You're in the middle of the desert in a camp, and all the way around you, a day's journey away. Take you 24 hours to go that way. That's how far out quail are falling. All the way around the camp. 2 cubits high. Now, cubit is the tip of your middle finger to your elbow. Depending whoever the pharaoh or king is, that's the cubit. 2 cubits high. So waist high in quails, as far out as a day's journey all the way around, waist high quail. A quail is a little bird, if you don't know. That's what God fed them. Waist high quail. You want meat? There you go. You got so much of it, you don't have anywhere to put it. You couldn't possibly eat it all. I'm going to cram it down your fat mouth until you puke. And then I'm going to cram that down there and sew your lips shut so you can't murmur your complaints anymore. You ungrateful, conniving, gluttonous tard. You want meat? Have meat. Unbelievable. Whew. 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. A day's journey out, all the way around the camp. And the people stood up all that day and all that night and all the next day, and they gathered quails. He that gathered the least gathered 10 homers. I don't know what a homer is, but I'm guessing like a pickup truck. And they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. And while the flesh was yet betwixt their teeth, ere it was chewed, the wrath of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote the people with a very great plague while they were still chewing. Yeah. And he called the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah. Sounds worse than it is. Kibroth Hattaavah. Because they were buried, the people that lusted, buried in quail. And the people journeyed from Kibroth Hattaavah unto Hazeroth, and abode at Hazeroth. Yeah, because you couldn't stand the stench of quail anymore. Had to go somewhere else. They went to Hazeroth. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. Well, that's good of you to tell us that now. So Miriam and Aaron, his brother and sister, didn't care for the Ethiopian woman. I'm not saying anything. It's just, they're needy. Anyway, Moses married an Ethiopian woman. Did you know that? And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. Uh-oh. You don't talk against God. When you work for God, he's listening. Turns out, he spoke through Aaron, but Moses is the guy who was standing on holy ground when God made the covenant, not you. You shouldn't be talking. Your name is Miriam, and there is no book of Miriam, so shh. Now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, Come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. Notice the him in this sentence. Miriam, my servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and will not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall be beheld. In other words, he will see something that vaguely resembles God when he's talking to me. Wherefore, then, were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Translation. Miriam was running her mouth about being able to do whatever. Women are just as strong as men. We can do anything. You can do it better. God don't just talk to you. He could talk to me too, because I'm strong and powerful. That's what she's saying, right? And so God calls, and she's talking to Aaron. So God calls the three of them out. Oh, you think that God just talks to whoever he wants to? He does. See, here's the thing you don't understand. Moses is my friend, says God. You are not my friend. If there's a prophet in this village, anywhere, I will speak to that prophet in a dream, in their head by a vision. But Moses, and Moses only, Miriam, I will talk to face, because he's my friend. And when I talk to him, he will see something akin to me. He can't see me because I'm God, and if you see God, you die, but he'll see something, a similitude of me while talking to me. You will not. You'll see this cloud that you've been seeing. Moses and I have a relationship. You need to stop running your mouth, basically. And then he says, where did you get the idea that you should not be afraid to speak against my servant Moses? My servant Moses is your master. So that means you're speaking against your master and your master's master. That makes you a loudmouth twerp. And you need to stop doing that. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. But he made his point. I'll talk to Moses when I want to talk to Moses, and you'll be lucky if you hear about it. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, because she deserved it. White as snow, and Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. That's what you get for running your mouth. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us up. Weren't you the one running your mouth? Well, I wasn't. She was. Do you have leprosy? No. Okay. So I'm not laying the sin upon you guys. I'm laying the sin upon the one who's running her mouth, and she did foolishly, so she's going to have to deal with it. So he says, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us wherein we have done foolishly and wherein we have sinned. Yeah, you're guilty, so you're going to get punished for it. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. That's gross. Yeah, we don't want her to be half consumed. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. And the Lord said to Moses, If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed for 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp for 7 days, and after that, let her be received again. In other words, she totally disrespected you. And I don't know why you can't see that, but I'm God. I can take it. I'm a big boy. But she totally disrespected you. You can't let a woman be talking like that. That's what God said. Read it yourself. If she spit in her father's face, should she not feel shame? It's because when she humiliated you, that's basically what she did. Spit in her father's face. She spit in my face by humiliating you. So she's going to be suffering for 7 days. I'll let her go after that. I'm not going to kill her. She's just going to have leprosy for a little while. And understand that there's a hierarchy here. Get it through your head. Okay. So 7 days goes by. She can come back into the camp. She'll be clean. That's fine. And Miriam was shut out from the camp for 7 days. And the people journeyed not until Miriam was brought back in again. So they stayed where they were at for 7 days in Hazeroth. And after the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran, where they were to start with. And that's where we're going to stop for today. We'll pick up tomorrow night. Chapter 13, verse 1. All right. Wow. That was interesting. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you realize that God don't like it when you run your mouth, that maybe you should show a little respect where respect is due and try and understand the situation that comes your way when it happens the way it does. And don't get above your skis. You are not God. He's God. You're the servant. Act like it. It's that simple. I hope that you can see that God is trying to do what's right for everybody. And if we would just get out of his way or our own way, he would be much easier to do that. But most of all, I hope that you reach out with both hands to Almighty God and ask him to become part of your life. Ask him to step in and solve the problems that you've come to face with. Ask him to be a part of you. Ask him to answer the questions you have deep need to know the answers to. Ask him to heal you of the things you are afflicted by. And ask him to save you from the world you are lost in. And while you're thinking about that, do me a favor, if you would please. I got to find the button again. There it is. Hit that subscribe button. Press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's effortless. It's right in front of you. It really does help the channel with the algorithms. It helps us get recommended to other people. Won't you do that, please? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you can see the value in what I'm trying to build here and you'd like to help me build it, you can do that. You can send tithes, offerings, or love offerings to this humble ministry. You can help out in a number of ways. But the best way to help out is to go to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you're a Cash App user, $jakejohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It is a win-win. It's a blessing to me. Of course it is. It's a blessing to you too. How do I know that? Because God notices when you stand up and take his charge. That's what he wants you to do after all. He pays attention. Now, I will do everything in my power to be worthy of that support. I will answer all of your questions and comments to the best of my ability, as I always do, starting right now. Okay. What did you think? What did you learn? Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel a little hooey-dooey? Do you feel like, I didn't know God did that? Yeah, he does that. Questions, criticisms, catharses? Lay it on me, Jack. I got to figure out where I left off at. Bill Bennett's here. He says, howdy all. A little late today. I watched the Book of Enoch, the movie, on YouTube. It was pretty interesting. Oldest Christian book in Ethiopia, so it says. Yeah. Amanda says, Bill, hamburger upper hand. Bill says, third Sunday or Saturday of spring. It's Saturday. Yep. Kevin says, spring? Yes. It's 14 days past the spring equinox at sundown. And that occurs in April. What it is, when we talk about the equinox, aren't we dealing with astrology as well? No. No, astrology is the study of things that happen in the sky. Things happen in the sky whether we're looking or not. So we're not dealing with astrology. But the equinox has nothing to do with astrology. It just has to do with being the shortest day of the year, or longest day of the year, whatever it is. Bill says we call it Easter. Where the hell did the rabbit come from? I can sort of see the eggs, but not the bunny. Well, the rabbit and the eggs came from fertility rituals, because Easter is the same pagan ritual as the worship of the goddess Ishtar, which comes from a different deity. And we have co-opted it during the time of Constantine. We took all of the pagan rituals and smashed them into Christianity so that we could have a maximization on the amount of people we could pull under the table when it became a state religion because of Constantine's order to make Christianity a state religion because it's peaceful. And that's the best way to make the country peaceful is to be Christian. And he recognized that and did it, not because he was a Christian, his mother was, but he did it because he wanted a peaceful country before he died. So he made it Christian. And then so we just kind of co-opted all the other pagan rituals and holidays into Christianity, which is why we celebrate Christmas on December 25th, which happens to be the solstice, that sort of thing, which is a pagan holiday. Easter is a pagan holiday, and the study of the bunny and the eggs is about fertility. It's a get women pregnant party. That's what Easter is. And it has nothing to do with God or Christ. So, do the Passover. Don't do Easter. That's what I'm saying. Amanda says, Bill, they have made Easter pagan. Incorrect. They have made pagan Easter. It was pagan to start with. Bill says, is that Pharaoh in Egypt finally letting God's peeps go worship him? I have no idea what that sentence means. Is that Pharaoh in Egypt finally letting God's peeps go worship him? Pharaoh. Oh, Pharaoh. P-H-A-R-O-H. Is Pharaoh finally letting God's people worship him? No, he never did. No, God had to kill the firstborn of all of his children and all of his families and all of his animals and break Pharaoh for him to let Moses and his people go worship God. And then he swallowed them up with the Red Sea. So, no, he never did let them. Amanda says, what it is, astronomy, not astrology. There is a difference, and there is. Astronomy is a rigorous physical science that studies the universe, whereas astrology is an unscientific belief system claiming that the positions of the stars and planets influence human affairs. Correct. And the Bible tells you not to deal with astrology. You shouldn't study the stars to tell the future because you're not meant to know the future. You're not supposed to talk to dead people to find out future events either. Kevin says, good God, who named these people? Did they want my head to tilt when trying to read them? Yeah, they didn't have consonants. That's a modern invention. We invented consonants in the 1800s. Before that, vowels. Before that, it was all consonants. It came to a head in 1801 when a man named with all K's. No one could pronounce it, so we had to invent a new way to speak. And we invented vowels. Did you buy that? Said, we need a new way to speak. Amanda says, LOL, Kevin, right? I love hearing Jake try to pronounce these names. I'm getting good at it, though. Did you see that one, that I pronounced? I nailed it. Eldad, me dad, and Vodad, yo dad. Right on, Amanda. Patty Donahue's here. She says, thank the Lord. Hey, Patty. I do every day. For one thing or another. By the way, a homer is approximately 220 items. Most common modern estimate, roughly 6 bushels, or 6.2 to 6.25 U.S. bushels, about 58 gallons. It's primarily a dry measure, the liquid equivalent for the related. Core is similar in volume. Yeah, about 58 gallons. Yep. So like I said, a couple pickup trucks. Amanda says, Patty, Hamburger Hill brand. And great read, Jake. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Kevin says, good read, Jake. Thank you, brother. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Bill Bennett says, thank you, sir. Thank you, brother. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Bill says, astronomy, not astrology, astronomy. Science, not religion. Amanda says, what about astronomy, Bill? Amber says, anyone else still spinning? I didn't know we started spinning. How can you still be spinning if you never began to spin in the first place? Amanda says, no, Amber. Refresh, Amber. Oh, you're talking about the little wheel. Yep. Hit that refresh button. Amber says, good grief. I meant me, not my screen. Oh, you're spinning. Well, you said anyone else spinning. I hear you. Bill Bennett says, sounded like Pharaoh was hardened and God knew that you read a chapter that made me think of his disobedience. Yes, God did know that he was hardening Pharaoh's heart. He did it on purpose. He did that so that he could show the rest of the people who God was. He used the Pharaoh and his hardened heart to be able to present the plagues in such a way that everybody else could not ignore it. And he does do that sometimes. And by that standard, we're left to think, well, does that mean that Pharaoh went to hell because he disobeyed God? Not necessarily. God's the judge of that. And if God hardened his heart, surely he's not going to hold it against him when it wasn't his doing. Or maybe he hardened his heart because it was his doing. Maybe he wanted to harden his heart and God just allowed him to. Who knows? That's why God's the judge and not us. Ultimately, though, Pharaoh's actions magnified God to the people. So that's a good thing ultimately, even though it cost him his life. And Bill says, hell if I know. Do you think the aliens are demons or man's doing? I do. I think if there are aliens that show up, they are most certainly angels of some kind, fallen or otherwise. I do think there are celestial beings in this world. I do not think that there are beings from another planet in this world. So you could conflate the two in some fashion, and I would agree with that. I think the Bible is pretty clear in the fact that there are celestial beings that are both in heaven and on this earth and have been since the beginning, and as well as other beings that are called various things in this world. Because at one point in time, there was a thing called a divine council in which these beings were appointed provinces to rule over by God. Because originally, God was a hands-off God. He appointed the work to be done. That's why the word Elohim is plural. It's not L-O-R-D. It's plural. Many L-O-R-Ds, lowercase l's. So that's a misunderstanding in the original Bible from translation to English. We just write Lord every time the word Elohim is there, and that's not right. So when you understand that God delegated these different provinces to these different beings, and then you begin to understand where Greek mythology and all of that comes from, because that was the way it was. It wasn't until Abraham that God decided to be a hands-on God and take over and be God. So up until that point, he was just God. After Abraham, it was Lord God. So he became the Lord of all people. Bill Bennett says they have been here all along. Who has? Lord of my spirit. Yes. There's only one of those. There are other beings than humans. There are celestial and other types of beings that God created. But there's only one God, and there's only one Christ. And that you can believe. And these beings, no matter what they tell you, and they're liable to say any number of things in the days to come. No matter what they tell you, they are not God. They are not your Lord. They are not the supreme being. And so never give them that kind of authority, because they don't have it to start with. It's my belief that they're going to try to convince you they are God, that they're the creators of mankind. That's why I think all of this UFO stuff is coming out, because at some point they're going to fake an alien invasion. I believe that wholeheartedly. I always have. You can go back to the beginning of me, and I was saying it then. Anybody that knows me knows that I've said this all along. They're going to be an alien invasion, but they are not aliens. And they're going to claim that they're where we came from, that they made us. That's not true either. That is the beginning of the Antichrist spirit that is going to take over this world. I believe that's going to happen, and you can write it down that I said so. I don't know when. I'm not making a prediction. I'm just saying that's likely to be the way it all comes to be. Headed up by AI, which is the beast, the image of a man. Bill says, angels, demons, aliens, every time you have a good point, YouTube goes to commercial. And I believe that is true also. It may be. It wouldn't surprise me. Lots will be fooled. Yes, they will. But not if they listen to me, because I'm telling you the truth. It's very easy to not fall for the strong delusion. All you have to do is know what reality is. And if you know what reality is, you're not going to fall for any of that nonsense. You just can't be taken in by fantastic things. You might see an alien. Don't be fooled by the dazzle. Don't get razzle-dazzled. Just remember what reality is. Remember your feet are on the ground and God is the master of the universe, and that everything falls under his creation, and that thing you're looking at ain't him. And as long as you know that, you won't be fooled. And with that, I'm going to say good night. Nobody's asking any questions, and I'm tired, so it's also 10:09. So good night, everybody. I love you true. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I've enjoyed the read immensely. I hope you have too. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Like, subscribe, share, support, join. Super chat if you can. Feed that Jake. I appreciate that very much. But most of all, have a good night. Love yourselves. Love each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take time to give God the credit he deserves and the attention he deserves. He needs it. Amanda says, good night all. See you tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for a Bible study. Much love, y'all. Heart. And Debbie says, good night all, y'all. And Bill says, prayers. Good night, everybody. I love you all. Kevin, God bless you, sir. Anybody that's hanging in the back, Angela, Amber, sweet dreams. I love you. I'm out. Thanks for watching.